So last night we went and saw Late Night, starring Emma Thompson and Mindy Kaling. It is about basically a talk show host, a comedian, who is starting at the end of her career. They're thinking about taking away her show. And maybe they should. First impressions, what did you think of the movie?
I missed the first non-US team winning the NBA championship last night to see this movie.
Go Raptors.
So this movie is listed as a comedy drama, except just because the subject matter has to do with comedy doesn't mean it's a funny movie. This movie had almost one funny line in it. This was not a comedy. It had some dramatic aspects. Awesome. But no, it was not a funny movie.
Here's my problem that I had with the movie. She's a talk show host, so she comes on like Johnny Carson, and then they have a monologue, right? Ellen DeGeneres, they have that monologue. Well, every time that Emma Thompson had a monologue, the jokes that she was saying were not funny. Ever.
No, like even when they're in the writer's room and they're coming up with funny gags or something to put in the monologue, or they're showing clips of other late night talk show hosts that make cameos, there was not one funny line in the entire movie. It was all forced. Like the audience watching this movie is supposed to think this is funny. They'll give us a courtesy laugh, but it was not funny at all.
Yeah, and the longer the monologue goes on, especially near the end, the funnier the audience is supposed to think it is. So they get louder, but their enthusiasm really didn't look like it was much more than that. That was really the disappointing part for me is, well, if you're going to do a comedian, you better have some pretty good, outstanding jokes. You're portraying a comedian. That's supposed to be her credentials in life. Now, the movie itself, I didn't hate the movie. I didn't walk out going, what a waste of time, what a waste of my space for seeing this movie. It's a perfectly fine, acceptable, level-of-the-road movie. If anyone out there thinks that they don't know what's going to happen in this movie, you can tick a box all the way. Oh, they hint at something foul afoot. Oh yeah, tick the box. Oh, she turns it around. Tick a box. Oh, they're going to have bigger diversity and inclusion at the end of this movie, I bet, because there's nothing but white guys at the beginning of the movie. Tick a box. That's what this movie is. They don't show redemption. They don't show how to get there. They just tick the boxes of the story, and it's kind of bland.
So the plot is you have a failing late night TV show host, and you have a down and out, hasn't really started her career yet, doesn't know who she is, younger lady, and she wants to follow her dreams and get into the comedy biz. And without any experience, she goes and gets hired on at this show as a diversity hire. Okay, fine, that's no problem.
And it is a diverse, they even say it numerous times in the show, we hired you because you're a diversity hire.
Now, she ticked a bunch of boxes because they were looking for a woman, but she was also a person of color, and great for her. So she's starting her day, and the only experience she has is as a quality control clerk. And so she's in a writer's room, and she can't come up with anything funny. All she could do is give advice on what the team is doing wrong. Okay, great. How is she going to turn this star around, make her successful again? We don't know, because nothing ever comes of it. She adds no value to the team other than she's a nice person. You don't see her burgeoning skills. She doesn't bring a new perspective from being a woman or being a person of color to the team. So this big realization that the Emma Thompson makes as the star of Late Night doesn't actually come from the new dynamic on the team. It just comes because people found out, spoiler, that she cheated on her husband a few years back, and she hates herself, and then she turns a corner. So I don't know where the journey from unsuccessful to successful came from.
But come on, she came up with those fantastic ideas that no one else could come up with. Like, you have to interview more modern people. You have to go on social media. I mean, who would think of ideas like that to try and become popular? That was groundbreaking.
Yeah, it's pretty generic.
Only a person from a different background could come up with that than professional Hollywood writers.
Now, I want to give the movie a break. The acting was fairly decent.
I didn't hate any of the acting. And you know what? I'm going to give kudos to Jonathan Lithgow. He has a very small role in this as Emma Thompson's husband.
But deep.
But man, he's so likable. You just look, every time you see him on scene, you go, aww. You know?
Now the problem with this movie is that you're looking for the story connections and how they're going to unfold. But I never really saw them follow through with any of the story connections at all. You think that there's going to be some kind of something that folds around the movie to bring it all together, and you think maybe it'll have something to do with Jonathan Lithgow's character. Maybe it'll have something to do with Molly, who is Mindy's character. But nothing really comes of anything. The movie just kind of ends, and we don't have a resolution saying, there you go, there's the success that we were looking for all along. We have to assume that the success came after the credits roll.
In conclusion, I thought the movie well acted. Nothing horrible about the movie, but nothing great. It's just a bland movie. Is it a date night movie? Sure.
No.
Maybe.
You're out to lunch. Well, no, don't go see this movie. Don't go see this movie. Wait till it's on TV.
I would say wait for a streaming process myself, but you know, if your girlfriend or your boyfriend doesn't want to go see Men in Black, all right.
This is not going to appeal to an older audience. It's not going to appeal to a diverse audience. This is going to appeal to people who don't like good movies, who are okay with being boring.
So if you're a boring person who doesn't like good movies, go see Late Night. Paul told you right here.
So what are we going to rate this, though? What are we going to rate this?
Wait for Netflix. Absolutely.
Okay.
Nothing horrible. Just why spend $15 on it?
Agreed.